Hi church, this is my second attempt at posting a short video sharing a word that will hopefully encourage you and help you. As I said on the first video, which didn't end well because Diane was singing to the dog, which I can't guarantee won't happen again. But however, we'll press on. You've still got the birds singing in the background and Diane's just started practicing the piano, so you've got some beautiful accompanying music as well. So it's all good. So I was sharing with you from John's Gospel, and it was John chapter 11, and I was telling the story about Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. So to pick that up, Jesus gets news that Lazarus is dead. His sisters, Martha and Mary, have sent news to Jesus. Jesus is a number of miles away, and strangely, Jesus, although he's moved and Lazarus is his friend, and Martha and Mary, and he cares for them so very, very deeply, he doesn't leave. He lets Lazarus die. He knows this is going to happen, but he has some revelation from God about the fact that this miracle has to be this way. This is a resurrection miracle or a raising of the dead is a better phrase to put it, a better way to put it. For Lazarus, this had to be this way. And so Jesus holds back, and his disciples think, Lazarus is just sick and Jesus is going to go and pray for him. But Jesus in the end has to be really clear with them and say, no, Lazarus has died. And then he says, you are going to have new grounds for believing. And then he goes and he reaches Bethany. And this is the part that interested me and what I wanted to share with you. As he gets to the town where Martha and Mary and Lazarus live, Martha runs out to him and falls at his feet. And essentially she says these words. She says, if you had been here, Rabbi, if you'd been here, my brother would not have died. And then a conversation about Jesus as authority kind of comes from that, and Jesus encourages her. But that essentially, I wanted to focus on this question or this statement, that she makes of, if you had been here, he would not have died. And then not so long after, Martha goes back and tells Mary that Jesus is asking for her, and Mary goes out and she starts in exactly the same way. She falls at his feet and she says, if you had been here, Rabbi, my brother would not have died. Now, we know that Jesus goes on to raise Lazarus from the dead, and this all ends well, and the family are reunited, and it's an amazing miracle, just fantastic. But the thing that struck me was this statement, if you had been here. When I was younger, I was caught up in the enthusiasm of my faith, and I used to kind of believe that if a certain person prayed for me, these who seemed to have a ministry gift or if they prayed for me, I would receive what I needed, and that person had this gift, and I needed to be at this conference because that's where God would move, or I needed to hear this speaker, or I needed to, and I was caught up in if I was there, if that person prayed for me, if this happened, then God would move. And what really struck me about these verses is that Martha and Mary were stuck in the if. They were stuck in, if you were physically here, Jesus. And Jesus brings them out of the if. Essentially says, I am the if only. I'm always here. I am bigger than the if. My presence is always with you. I am beyond the if only. And circumstances do not limit me and my power. And my encouragement to you is that Martha and Mary had got locked into this idea that Jesus physically had to be there for this miracle to take place. But Jesus didn't. But the thing is, Jesus was there because he is the resurrection and the life. And when he turns up, time doesn't mean anything. When he turns up, circumstances don't mean anything. He is not limited. And my encouragement to you and to myself is, let's not get stuck in the if only. Because God has turned up. He's turned up for you and he's turned up for me. And whatever the circumstances look like, he is beyond the if only. And he is here with us. And we can't at the moment go to church and worship as we want to. We can't get that person to pray for us and this to happen. But Jesus is with us. And he is beyond the need for that. And those things are good, but they're not limitations to him and him moving. So let's break out of the if. Let's break away from the if and encounter Jesus powerfully in our lives. He is with us, fully present with us. And he will bring about the miracles, the words, and the encouragement we need right where we are, no matter where that is and what situation we're in. So let's break out of the if and break into the life and hope and power that Jesus has to change our hearts, our minds, our circumstances. Church, be encouraged. Break out of the if. Amen.